Hi, I'm Sarah Yates, and this is an overview of my project for my practicum course. My mentor was Dr. LeBlanc, and the wonderful thing about my mentor is her wealth of knowledge and also her willingness to share all of her books and resources and even online resources that she finds. She's always great about sending resources out to the College of Education and sharing different things that she has found. Many times I've gone into Dr. LeBlanc's office and found such interesting books that I wanted to add to my Amazon wish list. Dr. Bratton had shared with Dr. LeBlanc that the College of Education needed to develop some training or some professional development on engaging learning, collaborative learning, and motivating our learners. So my professional development or my course that I have developed will hopefully be of use to Dr. Bratton and Dr. LeBlanc. They are both very busy and just didn't have time to get into the nitty-gritty details of developing a course or a professional development, but they both had lots of great ideas to share with me in developing this project. The first thing that I included as part of this professional development was a self-efficacy scale where the participants would rate themselves. And it just opens our minds when we do a pretest like this and we consider how often we think we really use these methods in our teaching. And I included this, I just wanted to open the minds of our participants. I know it's hard to read on such a small screen, but you would decide how confident you are in your ability to do something on this side, and then on this side you're going to rate yourself on how often you actually use that methodology. It's just a little bit of a self-evaluation of your own teaching, and it sets up a positive environment for the professional development and really involves the participants in starting to think about the methods that they're already using. Then I took one of the things that we learned in our program evaluation class of doing a strength, weakness, opportunities, threat analysis. And I asked my participants to use their information from the self-assessment that they had just done to kind of analyze their own teaching and get us rolling with our development of our course. For my practicum, I actually have several different files on Dropbox that I developed and presented the information to Dr. LeBlanc and Dr. Bratton by sharing a link to my Dropbox. And I separated all of the information into categories, and each category can be used, all together, or this could be broken up and used separately in different professional developments. But you'll see that I have a folder on engaging learners. There's a whole nother lesson or a whole nother workshop on motivating learners, and of course those flow together nicely. There's a section on how do we create experiences for our learners and how do we involve them in that, and that flows well into multiple intelligences and being sure that as facilitators we are providing a variety of activities and that we are engaging our learners. There's a folder with information about transformative learning and also coaching and mentoring. And in each one of these folders, for each one of these topics, there are articles to read, there are activities to do in a workshop, and there are reflection pieces to make sure that the participants reflect on the things that they've been exposed to in the workshop. One of the things that I would do as I created this course is if I found an article, I would put a clean copy of the article in the folder, and I would also provide a hyperlink in case this course is taught online. And I would also take a copy of the article and go through and highlight the important points. For example, this is one on brain-based learning by Eric Jensen, and you'll see that I've gone through and highlighted the important points. Dr. LeBlanc and Dr. Bratton are both busy ladies, and I just wanted to highlight key topics so they could look at an article and say, yes, this is something that I can incorporate into my workshop today, or no, I'm going to go in a different direction. They have a lot of options. The next resource is actually a chapter out of an ebook, and it talks about engaging your learners and brain-based learning. And it talks about, what do I do to implement this in my classroom? We need research when we are teaching topics, and I think this has been made real to us as we've gone through the EDD program. This is research done by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation about what teachers would like to see in their professional development. And I highlighted a few key points. Teachers say, please do not read PowerPoints to me. I would like to feel energized as I go back into my classroom. I like to feel supported. I enjoy having the opportunity to bounce ideas off of my colleagues when I attend a workshop. And specific things about the training that's poorly executed, maybe I don't have an agenda, or maybe I don't have anything specific that I can take back to my classroom. I didn't have the opportunity to really take away interesting information that I can go back and apply immediately. So I just thought this was a neat way of looking at the research. We know that adults like choice, and a lot of teachers and professors feel like, man, I choose my professional development some of the time, but maybe the majority of the time I don't get to choose my training. And this was just an interesting thing that we can share with participants in our workshop. And even those in our EDD program that are ministers would need to know this information, because they are often working with adult learners when they're training their Sunday school teachers or volunteers. And we need to remember that our adult learners like the opportunity to have choice. In the engagement folder, I provided Eric Jensen's engagement domains, and there are 4 domains. And I provided an activity that's already ready to go. I created envelopes and I labeled each one with one of the domains of learning, and I cut apart little pieces of paper that will go inside these envelopes during the professional development. And I made a worksheet for Dr. Bratton or Dr. LeBlanc to hand out in a workshop. And then I always like to make myself a little teacher key. I call it a little cheat sheet. And so this is also in the folder. And this is just kind of helping the facilitator of the workshop know when somebody pulls out a little slip of paper, they know that there's a certain category or a certain envelope. For example, when I am allowing people to work in cooperative groups, I'm letting them use get to know you activities. That's going to help over here in the behavioral domain. Of course, these domains kind of crisscross each other, but this just kind of gives the facilitator a little cheat sheet to look at to know what's coming up next. I also included little links such as this one. This one goes to a video clip about a boring economics teacher, and you can just look through and see the different facial expressions of the students. And I session on I've also included activities such as taking a box and decorating each side of the box with ideas for how participants plan on going back into their areas of expertise and engaging participants. I actually have the handouts and the box and everything ready to go for Dr. Brandt, so she can just pick the activities that she wants to use and everything will be readily available. Another activity is involving participants in actually taking ideas that they come up with and doing little impromptu demonstrations in the workshop. So participants are actively involved in the workshop, and I try to make it fun and memorable for everyone. And there are activities on multiple intelligence. I thought it would be a great idea for students to share an effective teaching experience. and I actually have modeling clay and markers and all kinds of supplies for the students or the participants to get up and actually make some kind of representation right in the middle of the workshop. Just provides an opportunity for participants to get up and move around and create something about an effective teaching experience. And again, we're just modeling an effective way to share. There are Padlets to visit online. Padlets, if you are not familiar with them, are a place where students can log in and post. And on this particular Padlet, they are adding what they already know about learning and what they want to know about learning and what they have learned. I've also included some links that Dr. Bratton can actually use in the training, and this is a web page on learning communities, and it talks about active learning, and it gives some great information about learning. And there is a video down at the bottom, and I just love this little video. It takes place in an actual classroom, and I won't show the whole video, but the professor shares about different things, and you can see that the students are talking and working together. There are actually large screens up in the classroom, and students work in groups, and you'll see that they are collaborating and sharing with each other. And the students, when they're interviewed, actually talk about how they appreciate being able to lean over and share with a buddy in class. There's a section on motivation, another one about the characteristics of adult learners, and a section on transformative learning. We were actually visited by Dr. Waddell on transformative learning as he shared from Parker Palmer's book, and just taking time to reflect and give our students times to reflect and discuss and engage. And Dr. Waddell talked about having an open and supportive space for students to explore learning. And you're seeing now just examples of different slides that Dr. Bratton or Dr. LeBlanc could use in presenting transformative learning. This is an activity where students go through and pick a salad and a main dish and just engage with one another talking about transformative learning. There's opportunities for reflection. Parker Palmer talks about the different seasons we go through as teachers and ministers, and there are just several journal opportunities. There's a section of the course that is on professional development that is on mentoring. And at Southeastern, when you're a new faculty member, you are provided with a mentor that will walk you through that first year. And you might meet once a week or as needed. But I think that's such an important part of our organizations. And we want our workshop participants to realize that there are different ways to mentor. And so different types of mentoring are discussed in the course. Peer mentoring, cascade, mastermind mentoring. Here you'll recognize Dr. LeBlanc and Lori working on some research. And boy, are we thankful for our masterminds as we are entering that dissertation phase. But I just thought as we were wrapping up our practicum course that the section on mentoring was so important, because it's not just the mentee who benefits from mentoring, but the entire school, the church, the organization, and future students benefit. And I thoroughly enjoyed the mentoring portion of the course and finding resources on that. And of course, there are tons of resources out there on mentoring, and benefits are just kind of summarized here. I don't know how I can possibly avoid mistakes, because I do make a lot of mistakes. But the great thing about having a mentor is that mentor can help you recover and smooth over mistakes. And having a Christian mentor is best, because it keeps your work issues and your workloads in perspective and keeps things lined up with the Word of God. And when we are all finished with our practicum, we can celebrate, and so hopefully everyone is rejoicing that they've wrapped up their practicum and created some awesome resources.